Welcome to the Albert Clark Show, a transformative podcast where we embark on a profound journey through the key themes of life. Join us as we delve into the rich narratives woven into the works of acclaimed author Albert Lynn Clark, known for his compelling novels Lightning and Thunder, A Miracle Love Story, An Ancient Destiny, Escape from Earth. In each episode, we will explore essential life topics such as miracles, love, hope, loss, destiny, and transformation. Through heartfelt discussions, personal stories, and insightful interviews with guests, Albert will guide us in understanding how these themes shape our lives and connect us to one another. Whether you're seeking inspiration, healing, or a deeper understanding of your own journey, this podcast is designed to resonate with your heart and mind. Tune in as we celebrate the currents of life that unite us all, illuminating the path toward love, hope, and personal growth.
A testament of faith, a beacon of light.
It's me again, Albert Clark, the author of the Ancient Destiny book series of 4 books for science fiction that I enjoyed writing. I had a lot of fun writing it. I am now going into the 3rd volume, Generations. We have established colonies on 3 different planets that are widely separated by a few light years, and Ship and its crew has been busy flying back and forth between the various different colonies to see how they're doing and to help them out as necessary with the vast knowledge of the artificial intelligence, or the ship, SHIP, big letters, because Ship is a major character in the book, even though it's a ship, a relatively small starship that is capable of anti-gravity and speeds far in excess of the speed of light. We don't know how fast. Anyway, so they've been busy flying back and forth. The colonies are all well established now, and we're starting into the next generation, in that the kids originally born in the first few years of the colony are now starting to take their place in the colony, whether they be farmers or engineers or what. But remember, they're all from selected families of high intelligence and good genetics, and very military, fit and educated. So the kids are also being well educated, and we have the computers in the original colony ships that have data banks of all the movies and all the books ever written on Earth. So they've got some education availability there too. So anyway, and so again, I'm using a picture of Earth in the background because that's where we're all from, right? Even though we're living on different planets around the galaxy. One of our members of the crew decides to stay behind on Pangea, which is much like Earth, except it's not Earth. And they've developed a good society there. They're into the 2nd generation. They've got well-established fossil fuels and iron mining and founding of foundries for iron to be able to build new things out of iron. They're not capable of making impervium. Well, that's what the ships are made out of, and we have bulldozers and things like that we brought with us in kit form to have those impervium equipment. But you're going to need more equipment than that as the population grows. You're going to build automobiles, and you're going to have to turn sand into molten glass to make windows for the new vehicles, and windows for the houses that you're building out of the trees by lumbering the trees that were natural to the planet. And of course, we have to have people tending the cattle and the pigs and the chickens and so forth to make sure everybody gets fed. and we're producing food for our people on the colony. But we have Esther Shea, who is the daughter of the senator that helped fund the original development of the technology needed to travel to the stars. She joined the ship as a crew member because she believed that it was essential, but she was never really into it. And now that we've got 3 different planets pretty well established, there's no need for a botanist anymore because we're not searching for another planet. We already know what plant growth there is on the planet, and we've got our own earthbound plants established. So we've got wheat fields and pecan trees and whatever else we wanted to bring with us from Earth planted, and they're growing. And so there's really no, and we also have in our crew members, we also have botanists. So she feels like she's kind of a third wheel, a fifth wheel, sixth wheel. Wow, there's 7 women and 6 women on the ship, 1 man. So she feels like she's a 7th wheel and decides she wants to live a normal life. So she decides to leave the ship's embrace and live out the rest of her life as an ordinary human on Pangea. So we're losing a crew member. The thing is that while they were on the ship, traveling faster than the speed of light and occasionally teleporting to other planets, down to the planets as they explored, and when they visited the other colonies from the ship, the teleportation basically broke them into subatomic particles and put them back together on the planet where they landed. And when they came back to the ship, they were broken down into subatomic particles and reassembled before they entered the ship. And it happened within a second. But yeah, we don't age. Maybe over the 15, 20 years since we left the Earth, we have aged maybe a year or 2 because of time we spent on planets. But basically, we haven't aged. We're still young people. The people that were the original colonists, they arrived when they were in their very early 20s, and they're now in their 30s and 40s. So she's a young one on Pangea, sort of in between the ages. We've got the kids that were born there on Pangea, and then we've got the people that originally came on the colonists. And because she didn't age but a year or 2, she's sort of in between generations, but she's ready to settle down with and have her own children and live on a planet that isn't moving and no more scary events. And anyway, so she stayed behind. And as they traveled back and forth, one planet, the pyramid that had the already existing pyramids and buildings from his previous civilization that had been there that left, it's doing quite well, except they're having problems because we had so many ships from different countries on Earth that landed on that planet and made colony, and did repairs to the existing alien technology and alien buildings that were already there, the houses and so forth. They're having some political issues. And while they're all extremely educated, because their colony ships also had crude learning programs. Now they couldn't learn telepathically like ship taught the crew members science that was unbelievable. But they have to learn an ordinary, like classroom learning type situation, except their class was a computer on board the colony ship, and they can go back and get more education in different areas based upon what's stored in its memory banks. But they're having political problems. And Shelby Denton, who was our chemist, again, we've got the the natural resources of the new planet well established. We've got water supply, we've got petroleum, we've got whatever we need on that planet, and we're got our own refineries and so forth to refine the oil into different chemicals and so forth. So she's kind of a sixth wheel, where we lost one because she felt like a seventh wheel. Now we're losing a sixth wheel because she's going to stay behind on Pyramid to try to solve the ethnic problems of having so many different countries represented on that planet. So she decides she's going to stay behind too. And again, she's between ages because the original colonists are now in their late 30s and early 40s, and the new kids are just now in their late teens or early 20s. And here she is in her early 20s, but she's one of the members of the ship. So she knows how everything started and the overall plan for what we're supposed to do. So she decides to stay behind too. Well, that leaves us requiring 2 more members of the ship. Now, one turns out to be from Vulcan, which we sort of let the Chinese move to, and they're the only ones that ended up moving there. And they didn't know it until they got there, that when they landed their colony ships, they discovered there were no other colony ships besides the Chinese colony ships, but they were a big country with a big industry, and they built their own colony ships, and they manned their colony ships, and they brought with them what they wanted to bring, because, gee, we couldn't politically control them. Well, instead of bringing bulldozers, they brought military tanks. Well, there's nobody to fight. So they had to convert their military tanks into tractors and bulldozers. Oh well. So they're having a rough time of it. But they treat their women like you would expect them to treat them when the men outnumber the women. It's not a very pleasant situation. And one of them has very brilliant, managed to figure out a way to use electricity from the reactor of the colony ships to actually cut and re-weld impervium metal. We can't produce impervium because this is not Earth, and we don't have the original design in the colonies on how to make pervium, and it's sort of beyond their technology anyway. But she's figured out a way to cut up some of the impervium and build something new out of it. So anyway, and then we have a couple of, I said to her, this is not about wars. Well, we have a couple of battles. First of all, we have the colony from Mars that tries to build missiles to go after the other 2 colonies. Well, that didn't work out too well. The ship takes care of them very easily. So that's why we went there and kind of militarily settled everything down. And we brought that one girl with us. She's now a member of the crew, and she's a little older than the others, but she won't age because she's on the ship now. And then we bring another person that when Shelby decided to stay behind on Pyramid, one of the top people on Pyramid kind of filled in the gap, and we brought her along as one of the crew members on the ship to replace her. So we've still got our 6 women and 1 man. So Craig's still the leader, but it's sort of a voluntary leadership because he's not a dictator, but he listens to the women that are members of his crew, and he listens to the ship that recommends based upon computer artificial intelligence. But now and then, as they're traveling back and forth, they come across another civilization that are not human, and they are launching missiles at one of the colonies, and again they're being met and defeated. But in between there, something else happened in that the ship went back to Earth just to see what was going on. They did not find civilization going at that time, but they did find what they thought was the Library of Atlantis that we heard from people like Edgar Casey, that there's a Library of Atlantis that was left behind by Atlantis that has all the knowledge and history of Atlantis. Well, we're there looking for that when they get attacked by a splinter group of Atlanteans that did not evacuate to the same place that the other Atlantis people did, but they evacuated to a different planet in a different solar system. And now they're coming back to Earth, and they launch nuclear-tipped missiles at ship to try to blow us up. Well, ship sort of absorbs most of the energy and stores it away as part of ship. It provides plenty of energy, and ship not having offensive weapons, it's got force fields and a massive mass to absorb the impact of nuclear bombs going off next to it. But we make our escape because it's faster than any of the Atlantean spaceships. And they tracked some of the Atlantean spaceships that had attacked them back to their home planet and discover a very unfriendly place. And they all seem to be warlike. It's not like what you thought Atlantis was, but you remember Plato said they were warlike. Okay, well, some, as typical, some are, some aren't. The ones that were warlike went to this planet. Well, how are we going to do about that? We can't just have them attacking people with nuclear weapons. So, spaceship, our ship, recommends something, and we decide to go along with that, and that is we're going to push one of their small moons to slow it down. And when we slow it down, guess what happens? Gravity from that planet will cause it to eventually strike that planet. Just like Earth was pretty much destroyed by an asteroid, this small planet hitting that planet is going to send them back into the caveman age. Killing a lot of people, sorry about that, but we can't have people being attacked with nuclear weapons out in space. Well, we pretty much destroy that planet, take them out. They're not going to have any spaceships coming after us with nuclear missiles. And then as we travel back to Pangea, and again, these trips take us months to go, so this is 20 years after we established the colonies, and we're heading back to Pangea. We come across a different civilization that's not human. They're intelligent, but not human. And we observed it, and we discovered that they're using, instead of antimatter for traveling long distances, they're using dark energy and they store that in their missiles and spaceships for long distance travel. Well, we decided to go visit them. We've got an impervious ship. There's nothing they can do to us. And we look around and we discover they're having a big meeting because they've discovered that we have colonies and they want to go after those colonies. And so we drop in on one of the meetings by literally teleporting into the meeting room, along with a couple of women, because on that entire solar system with several planets with intelligent people, women are very subservient. They're slaves. And we were going to bring along a couple of women to show, hey, not our women. They may not be physically as strong as men, but mentally they're just every bit as strong. And anyway, that's a story that goes on and on. There's several different species, where there's a species of intelligent gorillas. There's a species of barely intelligent creatures that don't look like people. But I'll let you read the book and read the descriptions. Anyway, the net effect is that we teach them that women are valuable, and without those women, they're missing out. Also, that they have a caste structure where the gorilla planet in their solar system kind of rules over all the others. Well, that isn't going to happen anymore after we've been there. And they said, what can you do to us? And they said, well, you may have seen that one planet that got destroyed. Well, that was us in our little tiny ship. So don't mess with us. Uh, and anyway, we changed their whole society around, and they become not friends. I mean, they're not going to come visit us for friendliness, but neither are they going to attack us because they think that we have huge weapons that can easily defeat anything they might happen to come across. They're not going to be unfriendly, but we've changed their society to where women are valued characters in their society now, and they no longer have the same kind of a caste system. Yeah, there's going to be a difference because the ruling class had more valuable things when they were growing up. The working class were workers, literally workers without much way of education or anything else, barely being able to speak their languages, and they do speak different languages on different planets. Anyway, that's an interesting story with sub-story within the story. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up for generations. The colonies are there to stay. They're well developed. They're going good. Everything seems to be going great. But there's still another volume I've got to write because the story's not over yet. So anyway, a preview of volume 4 is, which I wrote years later because readers said, hey, wait a minute, you told us about these clues about Atlantis. What happened long term? Anyway, and also the new non-human intelligences had sent probes to our old solar system, and they sent probes by Earth not too many years ago, and they discovered there were intelligent species alive on Earth. So naturally, we have to go back and check it out because maybe there are survivors on Earth. Maybe not everybody was killed. So anyway, and then where did Atlantis go? We know they were there. We know they left. Where'd they go? So anyway, you'll find out when you read volume 4, which is called Survivors. And with that, good evening for all.